In 2024, one key metric consistently emerged as a critical indicator: Bollinger Bands. Historically, when this metric signaled movement, it often indicated that XRP was poised for significant momentum. I am here to highlight that the same signal is appearing once again. We remain firmly within a bull market, and XRP has yet to enter price discovery, a milestone it hasn't achieved in over 7 years, but is now approaching. Now, this opportunity arises only once every 4 years, as XRP typically performs in alignment with broader market movements. During the previous market cycle, XRP's potential was hindered, moving with the market but facing artificial suppression due to the ongoing SEC lawsuit. At this moment in time, we find ourselves at the next significant opportunity in the market. While we have already reached a new all-time high, the cycle is far from over. Notably, we have yet to experience an altcoin season. Historically, every bull market has included an alt season, and it is unlikely this one will be an exception. That being said, I want to emphasize that I do not have a financial background and am not providing financial advice. Any decisions to buy or sell should not be based on anything I say. My content is purely for informational and entertainment purposes, as I am simply an enthusiast who enjoys discussing cryptocurrency topics. At the time of recording this video, it is Sunday, June 15th, 2025. The price of XRP is $2.15, and Bitcoin is trading at $104,850.00. While the market appears to be moving sideways at the moment, such conditions are unlikely to persist for long. Chart Analyst Kaleo recently shared a post expressing strong confidence in the market, stating, "I still believe this dip is a gift for anyone with a hint of bullish conviction. There are too many catalysts lining up for the market not to move higher from here. In general, I must agree with this perspective. There are numerous metrics and significant historical precedents that suggest it is unlikely the market cycle has concluded. Personally, I find it improbable that we are seeing the end of the current cycle. In fact, I believe there is an almost certain likelihood, a near 100% chance, that we will experience a final parabolic move before this market cycle concludes. Even in the unlikely event this does not materialize and the market enters a bearish phase, I have already considered how this scenario would affect my own plans. I try not to panic in these situations. Instead, I remind myself that this time might genuinely be different, and I choose to stay patient, holding steady, and taking no action. Over time, the market tends to rebound, proving that patience is often the key to success. There's no need to stress or worry excessively about these fluctuations. While no one can predict the future with complete certainty, I firmly believe there is strong potential for upward movement. Even in the unlikely event of a significant downturn or the onset of a bear market, though disappointing, and the crypto market will inevitably grow larger over time, I do not believe that is a likely outcome in this scenario. Several factors seem to be aligning, and I fully agree with this perspective. Let's discuss Bollinger Bands in more detail. Here is a post I shared over a year ago on April 16th, 2024, originally from Charting Guy, featuring the XRP USD chart. The post highlights the behavior of Bollinger Bands and their significance when they tighten. In the chart, you can observe the blue lines representing the upper and lower Bollinger Bands moving closer together, indicating a tightening phase. As prices increased, the bands expanded, reflecting loosening. Historically, during bull markets, Bollinger Bands tend to tighten. This pattern was evident during the significant market rally in 2017 and again in the previous cycle in 2020. Despite the SEC lawsuit, the Bollinger Bands for XRP did not initially reach their tightest levels in history, but they eventually did. Observing the data, it becomes evident that significant changes were occurring. As of April last year, the Bollinger Bands began tightening significantly before opening up briefly, only to tighten again. In April of that year, a market analyst noted that XRP's monthly Bollinger Bands had reached their tightest levels ever, with a width of 0.7. The previous record was 0.73 back in 2017, just 1 month before a significant price movement. The analyst highlighted this observation with a comment and a rocket emoji, implying the potential for a major shift. While this tightening didn't immediately lead to a price surge, it was indicative of building pressure in the market. Over the next several months, the Bollinger Bands continued to contract further, signaling the possibility of significant volatility to come. This topic has been under discussion since September and October, with numerous analysts providing extensive commentary on the matter. For instance, Charting Guy shared an insightful observation in July highlighting the XRP monthly Bollinger Bands width. At that time, he noted that the Bollinger Bands continued to tighten. In April, the width had already broken the 2017 low of 73, reaching 70. By July, just a few months later, it had further narrowed to 65. The situation became increasingly constrained as time went on, which is why I consistently addressed this throughout the year. While the exact timing of a breakthrough was uncertain, historical trends suggest that markets often experience shifts following elections. In the months leading up to the election, there was significant speculation, including from myself, that this could be the moment when such changes might occur. Ultimately, this proved to be the case. However, the signs were evident even before then, although some patience was required. Today, I want to emphasize that we are once again in a similar pivotal moment. Here's an update from chart analyst Steph is Crypto regarding XRP. The Bollinger Bands have tightened once again, indicating a significant move may be on the horizon. While they were slightly tighter in November, XRP remains in a bullish trend. The fact that the bands have tightened again is noteworthy. Leading up to the election, the bands opened up briefly, but XRP has since been consolidating for nearly 6 months, following its all-time high in January. Steph notes that XRP Bollinger Bands at extreme tight range, huge move loading. It's important to note that while the tightening of Bollinger Bands signals an impending breakout, it does not specify whether the move will be upward or downward. However, as I've stated in previous analyses, this pattern is worth monitoring closely as we move into 2024. I believe that the most likely scenario when this movement occurs is a breakout to the upside rather than the downside, as we remain in a bull market. While I acknowledge the possibility of a short-term move to the downside, a perspective shared by many analysts, it does not alter the long-term outlook for XRP. Some analysts suggest that XRP could approach $2, even experience a brief dip to around $1.60. While this is possible, such a scenario would be temporary and would not impact the broader trajectory of XRP's performance. Although this outcome is not guaranteed, it is encouraging to witness this activity within the context of a bull market. The evidence strongly suggests that the most probable result is an upward breakout when the time comes. Let us explore some additional details to support this perspective. According to a recent post from the on-chain analytics firm Glassnode, XRP is demonstrating stronger performance. The firm reported that XRP's 30-day percentage change in realized market capitalization has reached 4.2%, significantly outpacing Solana's more modest 1%. This suggests that capital is rotating into XRP at a faster rate, indicating stronger short-term investor confidence. This observation is particularly noteworthy as several analysts have recently speculated that XRP could potentially approach the $2 level in the near future, though this outcome is not guaranteed. If such a movement were to occur, it would likely be led by Bitcoin's performance driving the broader market trend. It is possible that the value may reach the upper or mid 90,000s or something within that range. Such a movement would likely be market-wide and not indicative of any specific issue with XRP. However, this outcome is not guaranteed. These types of chart formations often suggest the potential for such movements, but they remain possibilities rather than certainties. Chart analyst XRP Crypto has shared an updated chart for the Guardian art showing movement from $20 to $27. The 9 SMA on the monthly time frame is indicating either the final upward leg or the potential start of a bearish trend. Despite ongoing geopolitical uncertainties, the 9 SMA has demonstrated remarkable resilience. As Agreg has highlighted, July could bring significant upward momentum, and based on his analysis, his prediction appears plausible. There are multiple metrics converging that suggest this scenario could indeed materialize. Notably, he has expressed confidence that there is a strong likelihood of significant price movement occurring in the near future, potentially as early as July. Historical data supports this possibility, particularly in the 4th year of a market cycle, which corresponds to the current cycle we are in. Since historically during the summer of the 4th year in a bull cycle, markets tend to experience notable price activity. In contrast, summers outside of the 4th year are typically characterized by lower volatility and more stagnant movement. If historical patterns hold true, this summer could prove to be an exception, potentially delivering more dynamic market activity. It will be interesting to observe how this unfolds in the coming months. Cryptobaste, a prominent and well-known XRP holder within the XRP community, recently shared his analysis and conviction regarding the cryptocurrency's potential. In his chart, he stated, XRP's top is not in yet. My minimum target is $8. He also highlighted that the SEC's ruling, which determined that XRP is not a security, has not been fully priced into the market. According to Cryptobaste, XRP holders stand to make significant gains. While I understand his perspective, I hold a slightly different view. In my opinion, the market seems to have already accounted for the SEC developments as reflected in XRP's price movements. For instance, news related to the lawsuit causes only minor fluctuations. typically a brief drop of a few percentage points before the price stabilizes. This suggests that investors are already well aware of the situation and its implications. I acknowledge that during moments of heightened optimism, it is possible to receive positive news regarding Ripple, which, even if not directly related to XRP, could lead to a surge in XRP's value. However, I believe much of this is already accounted for in its current price. In my humble opinion, the more significant observation is that the price of XRP still appears to be artificially suppressed. While it is true that XRP now has legal clarity and the broader situation is improving, recovery is not instantaneous. It requires time. I believe that without the SEC lawsuit, XRP would have performed exceptionally well this market cycle, and its current price would likely be significantly higher. It is impossible to determine how many potential investors refrained from entering the market over the past several years due to legal challenges. Naturally, these investors did not immediately enter the market as soon as clarity was achieved. Significant progress has been made and things are moving in the right direction. While the world is on a path to recovery, it will take years to fully address these challenges. That said, I believe the impact is evident. Furthermore, I am confident that nearly all current market participants fully understand this reality. Just my perspective, of course. According to chart analyst Zoom, once XRP breaks through the red zone on the XRP/BTC chart, it is likely to experience significant upward momentum. If XRP reaches the orange box on this chart, even at Bitcoin's current price levels, the potential for double-digit price growth for XRP becomes highly plausible. While this remains speculative, it is an observation worth considering. Additionally, I wanted to share an update from various analysts, including the latest Bollinger Band report. This report held substantial relevance during the previous market cycle and could provide further insight into current trends. As demonstrated here, let me bring it up. You can observe the data from Stathos Crypto. Notice what occurred at this point. When you look at the chart, specifically these red lines, it becomes clear that something significant was developing at that moment. This serves as a clear indicator that activity was brewing and it appears to be happening again. It's yet another metric to consider. Given this, the case for a bullish outlook strengthens. However, please note that I am not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. You should not make any investment decisions based solely on this information, as doing so could lead to unfavorable outcomes.